Fresno State and Boise State. Now, we talked about this game the last time that they matched up together, and I believe you were on Fresno State on that one. I was on Fresno State in the show, but then in the Low Shack in the Bag show, I started to realize that I might have made a mistake, and I took it back. I took Boise State on the money line. You generally don't want to do that, but and I was being very risky there, but I started to, the closer we got to kickoff, the more I felt that it was a trap, a play that was, it was on paper. It looked like Fresno State would have a significant edge. They had the motivational issues, to go into Boise and get a statement win, and they lost outright. But here they go; they can do it again. In that one, they were a favorite of about 2.5 points. Now they're an underdog of about 2.5 points. I'm leaning Fresno State again. What do you think, Ian Cameron?
Yeah, I hear you. I think Fresno State's got a shot in this game. I think they can play better than they did the last time they played Boise State. But we're talking about a Boise State game that's a team that's been disrespected in the betting markets week in and week out. It was disrespectful that they were a home underdog to Fresno, and they showed why. It was disrespectful they were only laying 2.5 and 3 against Utah State last week, and they showed us why. And you know what they're showing me? They're showing me that their defense, even with a ton of guys out, is rallying up and playing great football. They've got a bunch of key cogs out for the season due to injury on defense. David Moa, defensive line, Anthony Pierce in the secondary, Wimpy, the linebacker, who was their leading tackler, all done the last few weeks due to season-ending injuries, and they just keep bringing it on the defensive side of the football. They neutralized Jordan Love in that explosive, high-powered Utah State offense last week, and they've already shut down McMarion in this Fresno State offense. They made them very ordinary when they played them on the blue turf just a few weeks ago. I hear you. I think Fresno State's got a chance. I think Jeff Tedford's done a remarkable job. But to me, there's still some value toward Boise. I'm not taking Boise here, but I'm reluctant to go back on Fresno State again here. I think Boise State still, the value in this point spread currently still with them.
Yeah, they've covered 3 in a row, and their last game at home against Utah State, very impressive. That is an offense that if you don't contain the Utah State offense, they'll hang a 50 on you. They'll do that to you, Ian Cameron. They'll hang a, they don't care who you are. They don't care where they're playing, Albertson Stadium, anywhere. They'll hang a 50 on you if you're not careful. And they contained the Utah State offense pretty impressively. Boise State was, again, a 2.5-point favorite against that team. How would you compare Fresno State to Utah State? Is Fresno State a better team? Just off the top of your head, is Fresno State likely to be able to bring anything here that Utah State wasn't able to bring last week?
They have a better defense for sure than Utah State. There's no question. I love that Fresno State defense. But Boise State's defense, I think I wasn't convinced in the first meeting Boise State's defense would be as good as Fresno's. They showed they could be as good as Fresno, if not better. And that's my concern. And when you look at quarterbacks, I like McMarion. He's had a good season. He's had a good couple of years here at Fresno. But Boise's got the senior in Brett Rippon, a guy that's been very good. Especially down the stretch here. He's been really, really efficient at the quarterback spot, hasn't made mistakes, has relied on his running back as well to provide a balanced offense. So a lot of the areas Fresno's strong, at least based on their performance the last few weeks of the season, Pete, Boise's proven they can match them in a lot of those areas.
Yeah, I mean, Fresno State has lost 3 in a row ATS after having rattled off like 7 straight ATS covers, although their last 2 losses were just at home where they got the wins. They weren't, a big enough... They were too big of a favorite to get the cover. They beat San Jose State by 18. They were a 32-point favorite. They obviously weren't fully motivated to get a blowout win there. Probably trying to save things up a little bit for this Boise State game. I know Al McMorty in particular doesn't like to look at look-ahead spots as a factor, but I have to think that was at least a little bit of a factor that was on the minds of the Fresno State team. Here they go. They get a second crack at Boise State. I'm an inch away from taking Fresno here at +3, -115. But you're just impressed by but you think that the Boise quarterback is just a big difference here, and he's just gonna, whatever happens on the rest of the field, he's gonna lead them to a victory?
Yeah, I think if I could get more than 3 with Fresno, I'd be much more inclined to take Fresno. But in this price range where a field goal victory for Boise can get them the money, that's difficult for me to bet against, especially the way they've played Fresno and Utah State head-to-head recently. I will say this. I throw out Fresno State's showing against San Jose State. I know people in the chat saying they didn't look good. They looked like their defense softened, didn't play well in that game. They didn't give 2 shits about that game, to be honest with you. They really did not, that Fresno State team against San Jose State. They had wrapped up everything. They were looking forward to this game. They put no inclination and no incentive and motivation into that game. It was get the win and get out of there. That's what it was about for Fresno State. So I don't really penalize them for not looking good on defense last week, even against a bad San Jose State team. That was just a go through the motions, get out of there with the win, and move on type of game.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of times people ask, what are the key factors that you look for in any individual game? I think one key factor in this one, favoring Fresno State, I think, is they didn't give two shits about that game against San Jose State. That's an important thing to take into consideration. They did not give two shits about that game. Very important thing to keep in mind.
The way you said that, very good, Pete.
Ian Cameron, I'm going to do it. I'm taking Fresno State here, +3, -115. There was reasons to like them in the first game. Boise, came back and proved that they can't be rolled over at home. Now Fresno gets a second chance. There's a 3 available at the Greek, and I'm going to make this one an official pick. Fresno State, +3, -115. I'm going official, Ian Cameron. All right, that's it for that game.
I'll say one thing quickly to boost your case. Last year, the regular season meeting, Boise State lost. Boise State got him back in the Mountain West title game. This year, Fresno lost the regular season meeting. Can Fresno get him back in the Mountain West title game this year?
Yeah.
Something to think about.
I mean, it's going to be tough. Boise is an impressive team for all the reasons you stated, but I'm going to make it as an official pick. Fresno State, +3, -115. That's the current line at the Greek.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.